Today, I'd like to talk to you about the science of maximizing your advertising ROI with Amazon PPC. So before we begin, just want to do a quick shout out to my company, Scale Insights. So we are a software that empower brand owners to uncover actionable insights and also automate them, allowing you to take your PPC to the next level. So Scale Insights was founded by a group of Amazon sellers with a combined experience of over $150 million selling on Amazon. And our software was the finalist in the 2022 Ad Awards in the Innovation and Scale Technology categories. So a quick overview about myself, right? My journey on Amazon began in 2016. I was able to scale up 2 brands with a 7-figure exit in 2021. And as the head of selling engagement at Scale Insights, I do get to interact with advertising agencies, brand aggregators, Amazon sellers, large brand owners, 8-9 figures. And that gives me the opportunity to find out what's working when it comes to Amazon PPC. So on this note, what I will be sharing with you, during this session over here is the 2 undervalued metrics that even veteran sellers are overlooking that is costing them ranking potential and profitability. And also be sharing with you a scenario-based model to quickly spot rankable keywords and to protect profits in a fast-changing environment. And at the end of this, I'll be sharing with you an actionable bidding optimization SOP. So these are the 3 things that I'll be delivering to you today. So when it comes to bid optimization, I would like to talk about what I like to call a base model. So a model is basically how we simulate the real world. So the closer that we can simulate the real world, the closer we are able to get results. All right. So in the base model, there are 2 main scenarios. Okay. So let me just talk to you very quickly about the base model. And the 2 scenarios are when you have orders and we have no orders, right? 2 basic scenarios. So when you have orders, typically what you would do is that you have a target ACoS in mind when it comes to bid optimization. And we have no orders, what you typically do is also some form of bid optimization, but what you tend to do is that the more clicks that you get and you have no orders, you start to lower your bid, similar to what you're seeing on this table over here. All right, so 2 scenarios. Have orders, have a target ACoS in mind. No orders, you potentially want to start to lower down your bids as you get more clicks. So the good thing about this model I just described to you is a simple actionable model, but there is a problem. And the problem in this model is that it does not factor in what I call keyword performance. So in the first place, you might be asking me, Daniel, why does this even matter? So I'll be sharing with you why this matters in a moment's time. But before this, right, I would like to say that when it comes to keywords, generally speaking, there are 2 kinds, right? So there's the good keywords, there is the bad keywords, and I'd like to say that, conversion is key over here. So here's where, I'd like to extend the base model, to what I call the conversions model. So take it just 1 step higher and consider or factor in, right, the individual keyword performance, and now the model looks like this. When I factor in conversions, conversions, there are 2 kinds, right? So it's good conversions and bad conversions. So let's say, a good conversion will be, let's say, 20% conversion rate, and the action that I will want to take is that I'll be more aggressive in terms of the bidding. Why more aggressive, you might ask? Because I'm more confident about the keyword, right? If the keyword is converting well, right, I'll be more willing to bid aggressively on that keyword. So on the flip side, if I encounter that the keyword is not converting so well, right, I'll be more conservative and I'll perhaps even want to lower down my bids to the break-even level. So this is now factoring the conversion rates, on top of the base model. So the question would then be, how can I apply this conversions model in a meaningful way? So I prepared you a quick case study, to talk about how when you factor in conversions, it actually allows you to grow your organic sales in 3 simple steps. So here's where, right, I got a quick question for you, right? How many of you have this experience, right? I experience this a lot, that when you're trying to kind of like rank a keyword that does not convert well, okay, you find it's really, really hard, okay, to get the keyword ranked organically. Okay, so that is a problem that I do encounter very often. And I found that the reverse to be true as well through a lot of internal testing. Okay, we found that the reverse is true in the sense that keywords that convert well tend to be able to rank better. So this is the insight, okay, that we do have. So another question is, okay, how do we actually apply this? When we apply this, if we call the convergence model, right, there's good conversions and bad conversions, right? So for low converting keywords, what we want to do is that, okay, we want to adjust the bid down to the break-even bidding level, which will allow us to actually lower our PPC cost. So that's the first step. As you see over here, as I'm lowering down my bids to the break-even bidding for low converting keywords, you can see that my chart of PPC cost trend downwards. So by the way, each column over here represents a week. The week-on-week PPC cost starts to lower down. So this is how I deal with non-converting keywords. So keywords that convert better, right? Okay, I'll focus my PPC budget, okay, towards keywords that convert better. You can see over here, okay, my overall conversion rate goes up simply because, right, I'm just focusing my budget on the keywords that convert well. So by doing these two steps, okay, the end result that I get is that I start to see that my organic sales start to increase on a week-on-week basis. And that ultimately resulted in, okay, my overall profitability, right, okay, trending upwards. And this is a combination of that spread that we created, right? My PPC cost going downwards and my overall organic sales going upwards. That allowed me to turn, right, okay, a negative week on week to something really, really decent in terms of profitability. So this is the power, right, of adding on conversion rates, okay, when it comes to your modeling of your PPC. So quick recap, right? I talked about, okay, two undervalued metric, and the first undervalued metric is what I call keyword rankability. We want to always ask ourselves, right, is this a rankable keyword? If it's a rankable keyword, I want to pursue it harder. So this is the first metric, okay, and when it comes to the second metric, which I'll review in a moment's time, okay, before that, right, okay, I want to again talk about some case studies over here. Okay, I'm wondering if you've ever experienced this before, and something I experience a lot, right? Okay, not always say a lot, right? I do experience this at times. That, as you can see over here, okay, in terms of my sales, like week 1, week 2, week 3, and starting out of the blue, on week 4, I see that my sales tanks, right? Maybe sales dropped by 50%. And upon investigation, okay, it's either one of these reasons, right? Drop in ratings, okay, my inventory levels are low, or my competitor dropped their pricing, or it's some seasonality issue, right? Okay, so this is perhaps why, okay, on the 4th week, suddenly my sales halved, right? Okay, and right, if you've never experienced this before, you might have experienced the opposite, right? Where week 1, week 2, week 3, you had, you know, kind of like moderate sales, and suddenly on week 4, things start to shoot up. And again, upon investigation, right, okay, you found that it's your ratings improved, your competitor went out of stock, right, or it's a seasonality issue. Okay, so what I like to call the intuitive or obvious insight over here is that you realize that you can't only look at your 30-day trend, or more importantly, you not only want to look at your 30-day trend, you also want to be very mindful of what's happening, okay, at the weekly level. So this is the obvious insight, right, that we gather from here. So now that we know this, okay, we can now actually combine this insight, okay, and layer it on top of the convergence model that we built on early on. So now that we layer that in, okay, what if, okay, you encountered this situation that when you were looking at your 30-day statistics, looking at your 30-day data, you find that your keyword is converting well, right, above 20%. And if you look at, okay, your 7-day data, you realize that, hey, something looks a little bit amiss over here, right? At the 7-day look back period, okay, of 7 days data, I find that my keyword is not converting so well. So the question over here is this: how do we deal with all these changes, right, in our keyword performance, or let me rephrase the question. Okay, what actions to take when our keyword rankability changes, right? Recall mentioned early on, right? Okay, one of the metrics we care about is the keyword rankability. So what if that changes, right, based on the look back period that we're observing? How do we deal with that? So with that, right, okay, I've covered, okay, the two undervalued metrics that many veterans, even veterans, are overlooking, right? The combination of keyword rankability and the look back period, right, okay, of those data that you're analyzing. So the solution to this problem over here is what I call, okay, a scenario-based model. The scenario model will allow you, right, to adapt, okay, to changes in your keyword rankability based on certain look back periods. So let me just dive right into that right now. So scenario number one over here is this. I'm sure all of us want to be able to do this, which is to drive ranking profitably. In this particular scenario, how do I go about doing that? Okay, what are some of the actions that I need to take? Right, so let's define this, right? Okay, driving ranking profitability, the thing that I want to be able to do is to target keywords that perform consistently. So consistently over, let's say, a 30-day period, I want to see that this keyword is highly rankable. It has multiple orders, not just one order, which could be a coincidence. I want to have multiple orders. So again, let's define this more specifically. So in the last 30 days, keywords that have more than 20% conversion rate with more than 3 orders, okay, I'm confident to bid aggressively for this keyword at the level or potentially upwards of 40% target A cost, right? Because these keywords convert well, I'd like to bid more aggressively for them. So this is how you can potentially, in this particular scenario, right, drive ranking profitably. So in the next couple of minutes or so, okay, we'll build out this entire map together. So this is scenario number one. Okay, so this scenario number two will be the non-rankable keyword. So I've been harping a lot about, right, rankability, right? But how about keywords that are non-rankable? Do we just ignore them, or are there certain things that we can actually do? So interestingly enough, right, what we found, okay, based on this quick case study over here, is that non-rankable keywords or traffic can be really, really useful as well. So if you look at this table over here, I have a bunch of keywords, and the conversion rates for each of these keywords are like single digit, right? 5%, 4% kind of conversion rates. And because the conversion rate is low, right, they're potentially non-rankable, I decided to adjust my CPC to like the break-even bidding level, right? Okay, low CPC, like 40 cents, 38 cents, that kind of level. And if you look at the other columns, right, by doing that, I still do get orders. And it very, very nicely adds up, right, to my overall P&L, right? Okay, so I have low bids, and I still get orders, and that has allowed me to still kind of make profits on these non-rankable keywords. So let me summarize. Right, for scenario number two, I want to identify non-rankable keywords, okay, in the last 30 days, right? And obviously they're low rankable, okay, and they've cost me some ad spend. And I would want to be able to focus on maximizing my profits up front. And what I'll need to do, right, to be able to achieve that is to set or adjust my keywords down to the break-even bidding level, right? Okay, perhaps like 20% target A cost. 20% is typical, kind of like a profit margin for a product, 20-30%. And you will notice over here, I mentioned that you want to adjust down up to 99%. So what does it really mean? What that means is that, okay, I would like to adjust my bids really fast, okay, and drop it by potentially up to 99%. And the reason why is this, right? We already know based on the last 30 days that these keywords don't convert well. So I don't want to just adjust my bids slowly, right? I just want to drop straight to, right, the break-even bidding level. So this is what the adjust down to 99% means. So I adjust my bids really, really fast. And the general philosophy over here, I'm thinking, when it comes to this scenario, is that give me cheap, profitable traffic, or I just simply don't want to spend. So this is scenario number two. So scenario number three, which is upcoming, is the scenario of how I can go about spotting hidden opportunities in good times. So if you recall, okay, we talk about this 7-day trend. So I'm now looking at a shorter time frame. So during a shorter time frame, if I'm able to identify recent high converting keywords by looking at the recent data of keywords that are highly rankable, okay, and have many orders, okay, given the specifics in the last 7 days, the keywords have performed really well at 20% conversion rate with multiple orders, upwards of 10 orders. Okay, these keywords has a high potential to drive organic ranking and organic sales. And the action that I will want to take is to, again, be aggressive on the bidding and also, okay, to adjust the bids quickly to respond to that opportunity. And I also have a note over here to have what I call, okay, an observation period, 3 days to observe, right? Because you don't want to, in this particular case, over optimize, okay, on your bidding, right? Because you're now in a fast changing environment. After a change, you want to observe for a couple of days, right, upwards of 3 days, to see how things are moving before another bid change, right? Otherwise, you, like I mentioned, you might be potentially over optimizing, okay, on your bids. So scenario number 3, how we go about uncovering opportunities, right, during good times, okay, during the 7-day period. So now scenario number 4 is the flip side. Okay, so scenario number 3, uncovering hidden opportunities. Scenario number 4 is how do I go about protecting my profits in bad times? And if you recall, right, we had this chart, right? Okay, so week 1, week 2, week 3, suddenly on week 4, things start to tank. So, okay, the flip side will be to identify recently low converting keywords, okay, in the last 7 days, keywords that are low rankability, right? It can cost me many clicks. So look at this specific over here. In the last 7 days, imagine in the last 7 days, you had a keyword that's converting at the sub 5% level, and it's costing many clicks. Okay, you would want to be able to adjust the bids down really quickly as well, because you have sufficient data that gives you the confidence that you're better off, right, adjusting the bids down. So same idea, right? Okay, with these stats, you want to adjust your bid down by up to 98%. Basically, adjust fast, right? Because you're responding, okay, and protecting your profits, okay, when things turn against you. So this is scenario number 4. Right, moving on. Okay, scenario number 5 is what I call the unoptimizable bleeders. Right, what does this scenario look like? Okay, I'm sure many of you are aware that, okay, there are minimum bids for things like sponsored brand, minimum bids for headline search ads, right, 25 cents and 10 cents. And I want you to imagine, right, okay, that this is the situation that you are in. Okay, in the last 7 days, you are already at your minimum bid. You're already at 10 cents, you're already at 25 cents. And the A cost that you are encountering for the keyword is still 40%, still upwards of 40%. The conversion rate at less than 10% has cost you many clicks already. And the thing to note over here is that, okay, at upwards of 40% A cost is still higher than your break-even margins. What would you do? Right? Because there's nowhere further you can go, right? It's the minimum bid already. So in this particular case, right, this is why I mentioned this is an unoptimizable situation. So the action that you might want to take is that, okay, you might just want to go ahead and just pause those keywords because they're low rankability. You've already got many clicks, and you cannot go any further when it comes to the bids. You might be better off just pausing them, right? Can just chop and cut away all this unoptimizable traffic. This is scenario number 5. Okay, moving on to scenario number 6. Okay, we kind of covered this already, so I just kind of hop through it really quickly. The situation where, okay, how do you go about managing zeros? As you recall the table just now, right? The more clicks that you get, you just lower down your bid. That's how you manage, okay, the zero sales situation. So you adjust your bids. Okay, in the last 30 days, 0 orders, many clicks, right? The more clicks you get, the less confident you are at, okay, for the keyword. You just start to lower down your bid accordingly. So this is scenario number 6, how you deal with zero sales. So scenario number 7, right? Okay, what we call the silent bleeders. So what are silent bleeders? So far we've talked about, okay, 7 days, the last 7 days. Talk about the last 30 days. What if we extend the look back period, okay, to 90 days? And interestingly enough, you you potentially start to look, you potentially start to find such keywords, right? So imagine in the last 30 days, or kind of like every 30 days, the keyword gives you 6 clicks, no orders, right? Okay, 6 clicks, no orders, 6 clicks, no orders, right? And you kind of like sum it up, kind of like add it up. Okay, in the last 90 days, this particular keyword has cost you 18 clicks. And imagine each click costs you $2, which means that this keyword has costed you $40, close to that. And imagine you have 10 of such keywords. So these 10 of such silent bleeding keywords has costed you, right, okay, upwards of $400, right, in the last 90 days. So these are what we call low volume keywords with clicks without sales, last 90 days, 0 orders, many clicks. And these could potentially have been undetected if you were evaluating data in the shorter time frames, which is why you want to dig them out using a longer look back period. And obviously, right, okay, you would want to pause those keywords, just chop them off, right? Okay, so many days already, you have not gotten any orders. Very unlikely that these keywords, okay, will become converting keywords, right? Okay, so just go ahead and just pause them. So this is scenario number 8. So scenario number, sorry, this is scenario number 7, right? So scenario number 8 is what I call the sandwich traffic. So what's sandwich traffic? It's basically the keywords that are neither, okay, highly performing, nor are they the low performing. So it's kind of like just sitting in the middle. So they are things that in the last 30 days were some orders, some clicks, right? Okay, so the action that you want to take is to drive more traffic to evaluate their performance, and potentially, okay, these sandwich traffic would shift into one of the previous 7 scenarios that I talked about. So this is scenario number 8. So now at, okay, or we are now at the final scenario, right? Scenario number 9, and I would like you to, okay, look at this particular scenario, and let's kind of let's walk through it together step by step. Imagine that this is what you're looking at. Okay, in the last 30 days, you have a bunch of keywords that are converting really well, 20% above, right? Many orders, and at an acceptable A cost about 30 to 40%. Would you agree that, okay, you have a good amount of data last 30 days? The keywords are definitely highly rankable, more than 20% conversion rate. You have many orders, right, to confirm, right, the performance of the keyword, and it's kind of at an acceptable A cost, right, 30 to 40%. So here's where I would say that these are at the stage where it's an ideal performance with high and good performance, and you will want to maintain this high performance. So the obvious question would then be, okay, Daniel, what do I do? In this particular case, I would suggest that you do nothing, right? You do nothing in the sense that you don't want to touch what is not broken. You want to allow these keywords to continue to execute or run at these levels, right? So this is what we call, in this case, the ideal state. So scenario number 9 is the ideal state where you want to do nothing. So with that, okay, I've now given you the 9 different scenarios in this scenario-based model that allows you, right, okay, to deal with the changes, okay, in terms of the keyword rankability based on different look-back periods and what you can do about them. So the question now over here is this: with this, right, okay, roadmap, with this blueprint, okay, how could you potentially set everything up, okay, to just distract you, okay, in a couple of minutes? So here's where, okay, having, okay, some kind of software like Scale Insights, okay, will be really helpful in helping you to set up all these things that just distract you. So let's do a quick software demo on what you could potentially do within Scale Insights. All right, okay, so the good thing is that, okay, all the scenarios that I just described to you, okay, would have been preloaded as rules inside Scale Insights. So what is a rule? A rule is basically, right, okay, all the conditions, right, okay, so more than 20% conversion rate, multiple orders, right, okay, a certain target A cost, what is the action that I take? So I can actually translate all these scenarios as rules, and they've already been preloaded inside Scale Insights. So after, okay, you have this preloaded, which is already done, I will now want to create what we call objectives. So the objective is basically you deciding which of the scenarios that you want to use, right? It's not mandatory, you must use all of them. So let's say you want to use 7 of the 9 scenarios just described to you. Okay, you can select them and then give it a name, right? So scenario-based bidding. So you create the objective within the software itself. And the next step is to assign these objectives to your campaigns, right? So with a click on the mouse, you can bulk assign the objective and select which campaigns you want to assign these objectives to. And by doing this step, basically what you're doing is you're assigning the rules to the individual ad groups within the campaigns. And the great thing about Skill Insights is that it gives you a preview. It tells you exactly what stats the software is working on to make the bid adjustments. And when you mouse over the new bid, it tells you exactly how the calculation is being made. How is the software deciding on the adjustments, right? On the new bid. And we do have a change log as well, right? That tells you all the adjustments has been made, right? And why the adjustment has been made. So you have absolute control to make sure that this is exactly what you want to be done. So with that in mind, right? A question that I do get is that, hey, how do things scale up, right? In the real world, how are actual users using a scenario-based model with automation? How are they actually able to scale things up? So I have a good friend of mine. His name is Anthony. He's actually managing a multi-7-figure brand. As you can see over here, he's automating or making over 200,000 bid adjustments, and he's using a very similar scenario-based bidding model as well, right, to do all his bid adjustments. So the obvious question you might be asking, so Daniel, what does it mean? What does it mean that Anthony has made over 200,000 bid adjustments? All right, I think all of us would agree that Amazon, it's a player versus player kind of a marketplace, right? So imagine the advantage that Anthony has, right, in being able to fine-tune all his bid optimizations to the tune of 200,000 changes, right, optimizations every single month, versus, right, another player who is maybe doing a 1/10 of the optimization. Imagine the kind of advantage that he has in really dialing into the keywords that are converting really well, pushing them. Keywords that are not converting well, right? Lowering down, allowing to save on PPC cost, right? So these adjustments allow him, right, to have that kind of advantage.